Hey guys. So I've got a whole bunch of cards, grabbed them from a bunch of different decks. It's kind of a lucky dip situation. I'm gonna see what comes out, but Metatron, I keep getting a lot of synchronicities, like Metatron is coming through. I think it's like the divine masculine, and all the layers of the divine masculine. There's many, like with the feminine as well, but like I think I'm kind of getting Ascension glossary. I'm thinking like Metatron, very much like the essence of the core alpha, ascended masculine, source masculine type, alpha and omega. Metatron's very alpha, and I'm just getting that there is a lot of that energy being put into the masculine for us all. It's not just men, just masculine energy in general, like that alpha energy. I'm just looking at one of my oracle decks, which has the wolf on the front, and it's upside down. So I'm getting kind of like that, the hanging man, or an about turn, or things being turned on their head. And another deck that has been capturing my attention the past few days is like the Viking deck, and this guy's got like a wolf mask on, like a wolf helmet, and that just keeps capturing my attention as well. I've pulled some of those cards, and some masculine deck cards, the gods, goddesses, the gods and titans cards, because I'm just getting like this hella masculine energy come through. And to be honest, that's the majority of the energy that I've been directly kind of receiving myself. Like the masculine energy has really been working hard on me. I don't know. I don't know whether I'm a conduit in order to get a message across to the masculine, which I wouldn't be surprised, because the feminine assists the masculine to awaken, or I've just needed a hell of a lot of divine masculine energy in order for me to heal, and I think both is the case. Like we really need a lot of divine masculine energy coming into our fields right now. Like it is so potent. It is so required, so necessary. Really, on so many levels is it required. Personally, as a feminine, as a woman, I'm hanging for some masculine. I'm hanging for some masculine in the 3D. I'm getting it from energetically from my connections, but it is like I'm kind of just waiting for the 3D masculine, the earthbound masculine, to meet me at the borderline type thing, as per Madonna's song. in order for me, I feel like I'm requiring that in order to for me to go to my next level. And this is what we do for each other, you know, like we assist each other in our development and our ascension and our, you know, high vibing. You know, a lot of it has to be done alone, but you know, it gets to a point where you know, you have to start collaborating. The collabs have to start taking place in order for us to actually start completing our purpose. So there's this tension building. I think, you know, within the feminine, you know, and this could just be within myself as well, like I am needing to, for my masculine side to step up in order for my feminine to go next level. You know, it relates on every, you know, as above so below. So this is not just a man-woman thing, relationship type thing, but I'm just feeling like, yeah. Anyway, again, there's this tension building that you know, when's this next step going to happen type thing. But anyway, that might just be me. We'll see what comes out in the cards. Haven't looked at any of them, so we'll take a look. So we've got Lotus. Let go of challenges. It is time to bloom. The blue beings of are big at the moment with the Sirius gateway thing, the blue beings. And we've got Dhanvantari, receive the blessing of balance, sound health, and self-care. Looks like he's got a horn, an urn, and a shell, and a high five. The blessings of balance, sound health, and self-care. Third eye. Yeah, that's being activated. You know, that's an activated balance thing. Receiving the blessing of that awakening of balance. Okay. And then we've got savoring life with gratitude gives rise to a crescendo of loving consciousness, shifting paradigms and opening new creative pathways. Savoring life with gratitude, loving consciousness, shifting paradigms and opening new creative pathways. So I think that's a combination of like the lower three chakras there, the solar, the sacral, and the root. So grounded, action, passion, center, ignited, like direction, purpose, and yeah, passion, action, power, ignition sequence underway. Alright, so I got a few of the divine masters. We've got the divine director. Trust the process. Create space for divine order to unfold. I think he's a Syrian being as well, actually. Trust the process. Hathor. Yeah, she was just coming through a minute ago, actually. Light activation, acceleration, brilliance, stand in your light. I was actually, okay, segue here, come for a scoop with me. So today's message brought to you by Swan Beer. The Black Swan has been a synchronicity for me the last 2 years. She's got style, she's got grace. A Black Swan event, which is like, so you can Google it, but like for ages, you know, obviously people just thought there was only a white swan, and you know, the swans were white, that was it. And then when they settled in WA, like you know, when they kind of discovered Australia type thing, they discovered the black swan, and it was like no fucking way. It was like totally out of the blue. No one ever thought that that would ever happen. So it was kind of this like mind blown type situation. And a black swan event is that kind of thing, like no one can believe it's possible until it actually happens. So that has been a message for me since my awakening, because you know that's how it kind of feels when you go through it. Anyway, the bulls. So number 23, which it was Michael Jordan's number, Chicago Bulls. So I'm getting Michael, Archangel Michael has been coming through heaps, Metatron has been coming through heaps, and the Chicago Bulls, and then I was like getting, the Bulls balls. So I'm like, okay, so the masculine bull, I like Hathor related bull, like of Hathor energy, but bull, masculine, and having the balls. So I'm getting divine masculine action in that kind of message that I was getting when I was grabbing my beer. These are the messages that come in. Acceleration, brilliance, stand in your light. Yeah, so the bull's balls, say that 3 times fast. Stand in your light, so that is like the empowerment, the divine masculine, tapping into his swag, his true, the divine swag, realizing the God self within, finding the balls. Yeah, and we've got Hanuman, the monkey man, devoted warrior. Let God's love hold you in strength. Hanuman is he's great. Like, he was the one that helped Rama and Sita when someone stole her away from Rama, and their divine union. So Hanuman is like, helps the conscious couplings, the twin flames, and true warrior, the monkey man. But he looks a little bit cat-like to me, a little bit lion being-ish as well, to be honest. There, tail and the face, like actually that face, his face there, it's kind of, that's almost like the kind of cat face that I saw in a vision that I had, but it was a blue kind. It was blue. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and we've got sacral chakra and eagle medicine. Sacral chakra. orange, red. The lower centers, root, actually, the whole root systems, you know, creating solid foundations has been coming through heaps lately, like especially the last 2 weeks. Like even today I saw on Facebook about like that, like a massive old, it was, I mean, you initially look at it, it looks like a rock formation, like a massive thing, but it's an old tree stump, like dinosaur sized tree stump. And you know, they've discovered this, or the root system underneath the ground of this massive thing, like the size of that tree, like, I mean, it's ridiculous. But anyway, like this whole idea of having a massive root system, like creating the stability, tapping in, like taproot, like that taproot goes solid, like way down into the earth. Like that is your like hold on reality. That is your hold on your reality, on you, who you are, and you know, your foundations. So that whole thing has been, it keeps coming through heaps, hey. It's like, you know, just keep returning to your foundations, your roots, and rely on your core. And eagle medicine. Yeah, so golden eagle was coming through again for me today. It's funny. I wrote a poem called Golden Eagle, and it had a reference to golfing in that. You know, sporting. There was a lot of sporting references in there as metaphors. I don't know. But the interesting thing is, when I was getting kind of the message of golden eagle again today, because I was like hiking over a mountain, and there was all these quartz, right? And so I'm constantly getting, you know, having conversations, messages type thing going on, and I was hiking, and there's just quartz everywhere, all over the ground, and you know, and my eyes constantly being taken to this quartz, and you know, my messages start, you know, going away, like, you know, the quartz line, the quartz ore leads to the gold, and you know, the golden road, follow the yellow brick road, and you know, the golden treasure at the end. Actually, as soon as I arrived at the hiking spot today, there was a double rainbow, and so you know, that's when it started. As soon as I got there, like I arrived, and there's this like freaking awesome double rainbow, and so I'm like, okay, you know, pot of gold, and then there's quartz, and I'm just following all these little signs and messages, like, and anyway, like in my poem, like there's this golfing reference, and in the middle of the bush where I was hiking, I was finding these golf balls, like someone had obviously been hitting golf balls out there, and I was picking up these, you know, golf balls, like literally 5 minutes after I was thinking about golden eagle. Yeah, anyway. I think there is, you know, like I wrote a poem about golden eagle, but I think there is actually a really deep spiritual, you know, if you check out the Ascension glossary and stuff, like I didn't realize this when I wrote the poem, but there's actually more of a as with everything that, you know, comes through, that you end up finding that there's actually deeper links with it all, and you know, this is what blows your mind. But anyway, that probably didn't make no sense to anyone, because it's kind of all this inside stuff, and you sound crazy when you start talking about it. But anyway, that's my life now. Yeah, eagle medicine. The birds. The birds. There's so much. There's just so much there with the birds. It's just crazy. Part of my energy right now just feels like just thinking about the eagle, the bird energy. Literally feels like I've just been cocooned in their wings, and I'm kind of away with the fairies now. But yeah, there's massive resonate deeply with the aliens carrying the eagle medicine. The angels. And they will be done. We want another eagle. Love, they will be done. It's also very, you know, the tribal Indian kind of vibe coming through there about, you know, your connection with nature on the highest level, you know. And we've got Hall of Mirrors, which reminds me of the disco ball metaphor, as that we're all mirrors to each other and to everything. Okay, we've got Amethyst, transformation, certainty, confidence. I'm getting that like that's a woman there, but I'm actually getting the masculine, because I'm kind of getting the Metatron vibes coming through, like with the colors. And you know, possibly the masculine is healing their feminine side, which is allowing their masculine side to awaken. Maybe it's that combination of, you know, the balance of the masculine, feminine there. Yellow and purple. Moonlight Goddess, repressed emotions, healing, reflection. Yeah, I'm still getting again that is the masculine healing their feminine, and becoming aware of the divine feminine. You know, because you've got to actually feel what the divine feminine is before you can heal it within yourself. And I think that's what a lot of the masculines are doing, is going on right now. because so much of our healing is enabled from our mirror, which is, you know, our opposite. So like, you know, with me, so much of my feminine healing, my healing has been enabled by seeing and sensing the divine masculine as a mirror to my feminine. And that's what's happening with the masculine now. They're seeing more divine feminine. They're realizing what it is. And then that is their mirror to their divine masculine. So then they can tap into their divine masculine nature and awaken it and develop it. And that's how we heal each other. And, you know, obviously you've got to be ready, like, to be open to seeing it. Because, you know, if you're not ready, it is triggering to see your opposite, the divine nature opposite. Yeah. We got standing stones, passage, the red dress, finding gems in order to cross over. Like I've said this before, like in Outlander, they have to have a jewel, like a gem, in order to go through the stones. And finding jewels within is how you cross over, like how you choose the path that you want to go on, the timeline, the enter the mystic. Guardians of the land, protection. Yeah, I mean, we're all awakening. The divine masculine, feminine's awakening. The guardians being awoken to follow their a serious, like, you know, really big purpose to change the world, to break the patterns, to make a... Oh, look at this rainbow waterfalls, literally. So I, like, trekked through the bush today to find this little waterfall. Hey, I mean, it was amazing. It was actually like... and no one was around. It was so awesome. Like, I had to, you know, I literally trekked through the bush to get there because I was determined to go to this waterfall that I saw. But it was like, had levels to it, and I swear it was like the 7 pools of emotion. And, you know, I was guided there. I'd never been there before. And this is what happens when you allow your, you know, intuition to guide you. I was in a shit mood all day today. And, you know, I got the message to go somewhere different and randomly went to this place, started walking and saw the double rainbow, then started, you know, walked down the path and heard the water and, you know, saw this, and then guided through the bush in order to get to this waterfall. And it was gorgeous. And there were several little ones, you know, like... And like the 7 pools of emotion is like, you know, processing the levels in order to raise your frequency. And because, you know, I was in a shit mood, it was very, what's the word? Like perfect for my mood, for them to guide me to a 7 pool of emotion waterfall in order for me to walk up the mountain and raise my frequency. And, you know, this is the amazing stuff that happens. Love, Taj Mahal, divine love, all those colours. And the white doves, release the white doves of peace. Life force energy. Yeah. You can't get more like in touch with the land, you know, than that. And in touch with the amount of love that, you know, you would build a freaking palace for your love to the level of that of the Taj Mahal, you know. Like that's what love does. Love gives you the life force energy to literally build that, or freaking walk across the freaking savannah with a stick and lines following you, and you know, you're still doing it. So I've got a few colours as well, my little Bunnings colours. We've got blue emeralds, you know, I'm getting Thoth and the blue beings with that. I'm getting Atlantis. Yeah, Atlantis. And the Lemuria, right, okay. So I'm getting Lemuria with that, Atlantis, and the wisdom hidden beneath the waves. It paves the way to a heart that's out of date. Crazy, eh? Anyway, mystification. Mystify. Cat Nation. Mystic. Bit my stiff. The Lyrans are so freaking sexy as fuck. No, the Lyrans are hella, which I'm starting to realise. The Lyrans are wild, right? They're wildcats. I love it. I mean, I think that's where I get my freaking wildness. I mean, obviously it's where I get my like wildness from, but like to channel such cheek and sexy times, it's a surprise. It's a real surprise. I've only actually heard of one other channeler, tarot reader, kind of like talk about that kind of energy with the Lyrans, but like I felt that there like the entire time. It's the dragons as well, actually, but they're so far removed from language, it's very difficult when it comes through. It's also the giants, whoever the giants are. Like, I need to work out who all these people are, but there is definite, maybe it's of the same descent. Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm getting like the, you know, Anu, the giants, the Anasazi and I don't even know. Oh God. But like some of them that come through to me are so freaking cheeky. And I love it. But they're cheekier than I am. They're dirtier than I am. And so like when it comes through, I'm like, come on guys. Anyway, I don't know if anyone else has that experience when channeling, but I think it's it's that full, free, wild spirit that there's no limits, they fully embodied their natures, which is, you know, loving each other. I guess the blue beings were a bit like that too, what I experienced. But no holds barred, like they'll express each other, and it's fun and it's flirty and it's like sexy, and it's not derogatory or like negative in any way. It's fun. It's fun, but maybe it's just like a side of I mean, I know it's in my nature because I respond to it, but I think it's because it's been crushed in our society so much. Like our sensuality, our sexuality has just been stifled so much that when I receive this, it's like God, can't say that, or you know, like it's still kind of like I'm not comfortable with it yet, and it just goes to show how like repressed, how repressed our natures, our true passionate natures are, and like what amazing like energy experiences we've yet to explore from, and I'm talking from an awakened divine place. I'm not talking about, you know, lower energy, you know, sleeping around, all that kind of sexual BDSM. I'm not talking about all that stuff that so many people kind of get lost in, or I don't know, caught up in, you know, the sexual, you know, over sexualization type thing. It's not that. Like, it is the pure divine sexuality. It's divine sexuality. It is godlike sexuality, and it's such an amazing thing to start experiencing from like my guides, like, you know, my guards, my my peeps, like feeling this kind of these vibes coming in of this play. It's play. It's love play. It's divine. It's divine, sensual. It's divine flirtation. I don't know. Where it is a combination of your mind, your heart, and your passion. So, you know, like, oh, it does me in. Hey, it literally does me in, because it is intelligence, it is heart based, and it is passion based. So it's the three ticked. And it's coming from a divine, a divine space, like a balanced divine, that interplay with divine masculine and feminine, the sexual side of that. Oh, I'm tantric. I'm like, and this has been coming through a little bit recently as well, and I don't really know anything about tantra, but tantric kind of the in out breath of masculine, feminine, and like, I don't know much about it, and I'm just getting into all this stuff, right? But there's so, like, even my idea of like what I have seen out there and stuff, it is like serious, and it has to be like, what I've seen is kind of like, it has to be a certain way, like just serious kind of thing. And what I'm receiving is a much more playful aspect to it, which resonates much more with me anyway, because I don't know, maybe so many people out there are still not balanced or grounded enough within their selves in order to start playfully experiencing it, because egos very quickly get challenged. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. But it's very beautiful. It's been quite confusing, because like, I'm getting, intellectual messages, I'm getting heart-based messages, and I'm getting sexy as fuck messages, and I'm getting like the combo of that message. And and in the past, when looking at other people's messages, I've seen mental channel messages, like knowledge, information. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do the pure love, heart-based, I haven't heard that many freaking sexual wisdom come through, and I think that might be our next step with this whole the twin flame coupling thing. And the fact that I'm kind of getting this stuff coming through, that it's play, it's about just letting go and being a kid and enjoying yourself, and like, don't take it so seriously. Like, there is so much of this pure mental knowledge coming through, there's so much of this just heart-based stuff coming through, but what we really need, what so many of us really need, is the play to come through. And I think it, in order to link it all, because the play is not on it, like that play that like I'm receiving, that play wisdom is a combo of the three. It like that is the glue that brings it all together. In my mind, that is the joy in being alive, the play. And that is what we need. That you can be intelligent as fuck, loving as fuck, divine as fuck, and play like you're a big fucking kid. Bring it all together, and you've got the life of your dreams, type thing. I mean, this is what I'm getting. That is the key, to bring play into it. You can be intelligent and heart-based and play and enjoy your life and just be you. And I know we're all different, but I know there is a lot, there is a whole group of people, there's so many people taking things just so seriously, or only focusing on one aspect, and we're multi-dimensional. We have a brain, we have a heart, but we also have a fucking passion center. And, we want to bring joy and play into our lives. And I think I absolutely, I can't said it before, I absolutely love that is part. Because I think I was scared that to be an awakened individual, to have a connection with the all, that you would have to become some I don't want to say anything derogatory, that you would have to become boring, that you would have to stop doing the things that you love to do just for fun, just for excitement, just to bring some, a bit of, some wild nights into your life in order to feel good. And this is kind of the message that is out there, that you can't drink, you can't do drugs, blah 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 blah. But that's not the case. It's not the case. It's about developing the balance. And joy. It's not about denying yourself. It's about embracing all of yourself. And fuck. I absolutely love that fact. Every aspect of yourself, right? Every aspect of you has a divine level to it. So your wild side has a divine level to it. Your relaxation side has a divine level to it. Your intellect, has a divine level to it. Your heart has a divine level to it. Your purpose has a divine level to it. And this is what, it's all layers, and we've got all different aspects. To be a divine individual, to be an awakened individual, or divine feminine, divine masculine, it is not just one aspect of you can be divine. It is every aspect that makes you, that you love about you, that you are drawn to. It is the outside layer of your bubble. And so you've got you're this, a bubble, and imagine it divided into sections, and they're all the different aspects, interests, like just all the different parts of you that come out of you, you know, your interests, your, you know, purposes, your loves, your passions, your, you know, whatever. And each of these aspects of you have layers, from like toxic to divine. So, you know, what we're all trying to do really is get a balanced growth, so all our aspects are in the kind of divine outside of the bubble type thing, rather than the toxic or the, you know, the dark center. And the thing is, like, you can, like, it is all you, and it's all in there. If you try and just like go like, I've got to be this way to get to the divine, or I've got to be this way to get to the divine, like, it's just never work. It will never work. You're like denying the entire rest of your bubble. You'll never be satisfied. You'll never be happy. And this is why they say, you know, like embracing your shadow, embracing all your parts, all the aspects of you, and what makes you you. None of them are bad. Just keep looking into them until you get to the divine nature of them. And if you go, like, if you just focus on one area of you, like, that's all your attention on one little bit, and that's when it can become like hella toxic. But if you're balanced, if your energy is going into all these different aspects, accepting all of them, giving them gratitude, you know, attention, all of them in a balanced way, you're giving all of your parts some of your energy, you kind of, you know, evenly going out, you're a lot more energetically balanced, and you can, and as you like accept them, and, you know, kind of, it's like, you know, you kind of bringing them into you. Okay, like, you know, yes, I can see the, you know, why I like that, and, you know, if I can just break through the toxic, I will get, you know, and as you know, balance all those aspects of yourself, you can't, you know, you expand into the divine nature of all of them. And that's when you kind of just kind of go blop and release any kind of idea that any of you is bad, any of it is toxic. It is all just this beautiful bubble. You're looking from the outside of the bubble. There's rainbows and everything, you know, everything that in there is beautiful. It's you. Going I had to end it again. So we've got the gospel, that book, and truth, balance. I'm getting like Mary and Jesus vibes there, and you know, that is like the message that they were giving across as well. Like, you know, it's about the balance, and you just have to be you and self-sovereign and free and enjoy yourself. So we got Mecca. I don't know much about Mecca. To me, that looks like freaking Wembley Stadium and Queen playing, like a concert at Wembley Stadium. But I'll pay respect and I will actually find out what it's all about. But I mean, like, I guess people go there to pay homage. There's also the spiral of the energy going up there as well. Maybe that's like paying homage to the energy of you. Don't deny any of you. Don't deny any of you. Just gotta find where this is in here. Doesn't have any numbers. I'm not really sure. No, can't find it. I'll just leave that one. Remembering, I know who I am. That's your root system. So we've got some I Ching cards. I Ching, 29, repeating chasms. There is truth and confidence. A connected heart creates success. Movement brings honor. 29 is just like, it's been so big for me the last few weeks. Sometimes you fall into the swirling, unknowable dark, and the only way forward is to accept the truth of the present moment and trust in your inner knowing. Stay in communication with your heart and creative source. Then movement forward shows courage and commitment, as well as a test of your convictions. What are you sure of in your heart when nothing else is certain? How can you flow on and through the dark? Yeah, and that is your root system. Like, what is it that gets you through? What do you know without a doubt? What do you know about you? What do you know of you is absolutely true that you always come back to, like hold on to, in order to tap back into the real you when things go to shit? Like, I really feel like we all have these grounding aspects to ourselves that kind of always bring us back to us. And we all kind of have ways in order to do that. And what I have found, don't know if it's the same with anyone else, but for example, I don't know actually how to explain this without just, right, so for example, whenever I am in a really bad spot, I am drawn to go to listen to the Doors, and I listen to the Doors and I dance, and you know, the lyrics and the music and dancing wild and free. Like, I tap into Jim, I tap into the Doors, I tap into the flower power movement type thing with that whole, you know, the energy of the Doors. And that taps me into a part of me that is like realer than real. It's just like the real me. And so the Doors have always done that for me. that has always been a key for me to remind myself of my true nature when I, am lost, get lost in the matrix stuff. And I've been doing that since I was a teenager, listening to the Doors. There's been other bands, but like Doors is the big one because I resonate, like my core energy. I resonate deeply, like I've said previously, like the Doors is my soul band. It reminds me of what my soul is, and like whatever you have in your life that does that for you, as a reminder, like ask yourself if you've got something like that, and what is it, and what does that actually make you feel like, and like go deep into that, because that is your doorway, that is like the key to you, the real you. And if you continually look into that, because it's like that's the little codex of you, like that is the little, like to break your code type thing. That is like the doorway into remembering who you are and why you're here. If you've got one of these things, because it is seriously like a metaphor of you. Whatever this thing is that you do, or whatever, like to bring you back to yourself, like dive deeper into that to explore it, because there's keys in there, there's answers in there. It was for me anyway. I could talk for hours about like how my energy and how the Doors like affect me, and the whole like the links and the rememberings and the pathways that are within that connection, and what it has done for me over the years, many times. Like these sorts of things are the things you should look into, because they're the little soul keys that help you remember who you are. If that makes sense. And we got 28. Great, exceeding the ridge pole warps, fruitful to have a direction to go, creating success. I don't know if that makes sense. Lost in translation. When you exceed something, you cross over a line and make a transition. This brings stress, but also a greatness of spirit and purpose beyond the scope of the situation. Things cannot hold up as they are, like the ridge pole of the traditional Chinese house, so there must be movement. Reach out imaginatively and explore. What is overloaded? What have you outgrown? What must you do? This is the thing. When you exceed something, you cross over a line and make a transition. This brings stress, but also a greatness of spirit. Like, change is as good as a holiday, because change makes action happen. Like, if you stay comfortable your entire life, you will not grow. For example, if you're like a fruit tree, and you're just like, getting like just enough I don't know if that's a good metaphor, but we need change. We need dynamic force put against us in order to have a reaction. Like, if you try and stay in a comfortable position your whole life, and yet you're wondering why you're not growing, or there is nothing happening around you, well, that's the reason. It's equal opposite, like force, like change has to be, if you're not growing, you are dying. If you're not moving, you are going backwards. Like, action has to happen for you to live. It is a dynamic aspect of your energy to want to flow. And if you're not flowing, if nothing is changing in your life, if you're just trying to stay still, or you're staying in the same situation or whatever, your energy is going to literally start feeling like it'll start feeling like you're dying. Because your energy knows that it is not moving, it is not flowing, so it is dying. And that's when depression and anger and frustration, tension comes in, sickness. Our natural state, energy flows. Energy doesn't stay still, energy flows. What was I going to say there? Yeah, but so many of us are scared of change. We fear so much. We fear change, we fear the challenge, and so we stay comfortable. But it is the challenge, it is moving, which is challenging. It takes energy, it takes a push, it takes momentum, which is a challenging to our emotions that comes out, as that we actually have to put force into it, like energetic force, which is a challenge emotionally. So you actually have to challenge yourself to start your wheels rolling, your energy moving, and so many of us stay still because of that fear. And the fear's not actually, the fear, it just translates to force. Imagine it's like horsepower. It is the train, the steam engine trying to just build up enough steam to turn those wheels. It is force. And that is our emotion, translate the energy of doing that as a fear or a challenge, like it's too hard. But if you want to get anywhere, you'll get your steam pumping. It is really interesting, actually, how fearful we all are of the unknown. And yet we spend so much of our energy wanting more and trying to change what we've got around us without actually putting any effort into it, action. And that's when we start trying to change the people around us. And Yeah. It sounds like, you know, it's easy for me to say that. It doesn't feel easy when you're in it. But it's like just kind of like an energetic law, like, you know, you got to build up that steam within you to get your train tracks moving. You've literally got to sometimes force yourself for your own good to get the energy moving in the right direction. Ancestors, support system, family, worship, survival, death, the eye in the sky. Also getting birthday candles. Yeah, on the hill there. Caesar. Support system. Third eye knowledge. Connection. Hecate's path, cycle of life, night magic, crossroads, letting go. Yeah, that's the building up enough steam in order to push through to actually leave the station. The night magic is, you know, balancing that shadow, embracing the shadow and becoming more than it. You know, it's very similar to my, like, the disco ball metaphor. Is like realizing what the shadow is and like, yeah, that's me, but what's my light? And, you know, looking towards the light. Levitation, higher ground, belief, mastery, meditation. Alright, so with our shaman card, we've got Sweat Lodge. It's like camping. Sweat Lodge is a ceremony where the intense heat invokes a physical purification and the prayers invoke a spiritual purification. Yeah, so that's like, if you're not, you know, sometimes if you're not moving, life will move you. And that's when, like, shit just starts going wrong and, you know, everything around you, you know, just like, shit happens, and then you've literally got to, you are forced to make a change. You are forced to do something about all this shit that's going on around you, and it makes physical stuff happen. Like, you literally have to make changes, but it also makes changes up here, and that's the whole point of always being in flow and movement and growth, because it is physical, but it's also all this internal growth that goes along with it, and we're here for this growth in the heart, mind, passion center. We're here for growth, and if you're not enabling growth, life will make you enable growth, sometimes in really shit ways. So, you know, it's best that you know, we just continue to work with life to grow rather than have it forced upon us, because then that's like some really shit stuff can happen. Create your own ceremony of purification to detoxify physically and spiritually. Forgive yourself and others of any and all perceived transgressions. Oh, excuse me. I now cleanse myself of all physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual toxins. I might have to go to bed. Alright, I'll quickly go through these. So we've got rites of passage. These are the crystals. I'm getting, the walkabout, and this is like, the classic walkabout is, that's looking for change. That's like putting yourself out there into the wild unknown, putting yourself into situations and keep doing it. Like, you keep walking, you keep changing your environment, and you have to evolve. You have to get in touch with, yourself, and deal with all these different environments, changes, which enable your growth. And that's what the walkabout is about. And that's what, an awakening, or like, this is what we have to do in order to awaken, get to know ourselves. A rite of passage, like, it is a challenge, is a really challenging challenge where you discover yourself. And that's what we need to like bring back, I think, into the understanding of how, what is healthy, and how we get to know ourselves in a healthy way, is that we literally have to get to know ourselves, and we need space and certain challenges, certain ways, and this is like the schools of initiation in the ancient times, all over the world, different universities, different initiate schools of the path to awakening. And this is what is the walkabout. The different levels of the discovering of the different aspects of you, so you can get to know all of you and move forward to a balanced you at the end of it, which is a full ascension, rather than what we have today is like nothing. We don't have anything. Like, you're lucky if you randomly get through your entire life and figure this shit out. Back then they literally had mystery schools. They literally had, Jesus went to these things, like so many, like they had so many of these schools back then, and this is what we need to bring back. In order to understand what really, we really need in order to remember who we are. The Seraphonite, honesty, heart and third eye chakras. Tiger eye, animals, solar plexus chakra. Animals. The tiger's eye. We really do need to get back in touch with our natural natures, and not be ashamed of our desires and our passions. That's where so much of our energy, the solar plexus is like our energy center, our internal sun, and it's our essence, it's our animal essence, it's our like base core beingness, desires, passions, the feelings there. And if that's repressed, you've got no energy to fuel the rest of your energy, which is mental, heart, and stability. Larima, water, ocean, throat chakra. It's a beautiful combo there, the Tiger Eye and the Larimar. And the Seraphonite. There's green, brown, blue. And then we've got Unakite, live in the present, heart chakra. Green, blue, brown. Then we got Coral, allow flow and synchronicity into your life. Indigo, improve your vision. It's like ocean and stars. Ocean within the stars. And energy. Yeah, it's the energy. It is the, you know how coral moves? Like that's what the energies are always doing everywhere, right? And we need to become aware of this. So I'm like getting tingles all over my body right now. Energy is dynamic. It is alive type thing, right? And it is always moving. And becoming aware of these energies enables you to understand how you're interacting with them, how they are interacting with you. And this kind of brings me to, this is one of my cards, which is kind of like, this is like the yin and yang, which is spun, you know, in my view, you know, yin yang is, you know, when a connection is made and it is balanced and it is true, they spin and they become, you know, connected. You know, obviously they mix when they spin, and it just becomes unified, right? So this is what I get with this one. We've got the dragons, the two beings there, the rose and the yin yang, and this one with the dragons, the roses and the globe. And this is like, I got like obviously the dragon ley lines, and you know, and the Rosicrucian. You know, we've got pearls in there. Dragons of the Rising Rose, pretty sure that's an actual thing. And this is, you know, the divine feminine, like the Guinevere, the Mary, the Isis, like the energy, the dragon. You know, dragons breathe fire, like the phoenix rising. The dragon is like the feminine rising. The never-ending, like the perpetual blooming rose is the pure feminine. There's all these like metaphors of the feminine, the divine feminine energy, the Sophia, Sophia, you know, you're on fire, phoenix rising, you know, phoenix from the ashes. The power of creation, that's creation, and that is the feminine, right? Like we are the crazy creation. We are crazy creation. Yeah. So I guess that's the feminine coming through. And we've got like the rainbow bridge, rainbow bubbles, sailing his ship. Oh, and we also got the happy yin yang face when it's all mixed. The union, the joy of the union of masculine, feminine, yin yang. I love that one. You got all your rainbow colours mixed in, and then you end up with a happy face. And you know, that's our compass bubble, you know, our energy bubble. North Star, knowing who you are, you know, being the captain at the wheel of your own ship. Yeah, and we've got the tree of life, the big roots, you know. If you want a nice bushy tree, nice fruitful canopy, your root system literally has to be, you know, really solid and fruitful as well. I guess that's us. Yeah, like that's you rooting, you're rooting your energy into the ground, and you know, branching out into the more with your energy as well. And this is the balance that, you know, we should all be looking towards, is rooting ourselves into Mother Nature, into our nature, and also branching out into the more of our consciousness, of our beingness, of our heart, of our mind, of our possibilities. And you know, and then it's like that's your wings, and you're fully, you know, grounded into your nature as well. Oh, we've got Mary and Jesus coming through. This is my interpretation. It's like what they would look like today, you know, with all the tattoos and everything. Because, you know, this is what it is. Mary and Jesus. It is love. It's the twin flame relationship, you know, and we need to translate their message into today's time. So yeah, I freaking love this. Like, Jesus is hot as fuck. Yeah, and you know, it's just they were woke back then, and you know, if you get woke today, then you know, you're just kind of the same. And you know, they were tapped in, and they were tapped into each other. That, you know, yeah, that's gorgeous. I really like that one. Yeah, so it's the divine masculine, feminine, balanced, and knowing what each bring to the other, you know. Oh, we got the black swan coming through again. This is nice. Grace. Yeah, I'm also getting like Sigma female with these. Actually, I've just learnt about that apparently. Like, well, yeah, I've just learnt about the Sigma woman. I'm definitely one, and I've just learned about it. It's another level, like another explanation of me that has enabled me to see more of myself. So I really appreciate learning. Like, every time I learn another label of me that I resonate with, it really opens another door for me to understand further what my experience of this reality of my life has been. So yeah, the whole Sigma female resonates a lot, and it is extremely isolating, which like I get from both these extremely wise looking females, but both missing something. And yeah, and I guess that's what I come back around to the start. And this was me at the start that yeah, like waiting, sensing, hoping, keeping faith that my mirror will arrive in my 3D reality, so I can literally have the mirror to experience my reality as it should be experienced. Because if you don't have someone in your life to mirror who you are, it's like, you're on your own. That's why, yeah, I might leave it there because I was just going to dive hella deep into what Source's experience is, why he loves us so much, why it loves us so much, why we do all this. We need to know ourselves, and we need another to see, to reflect back to us who we are. Because if we don't have that, we can't truly experience ourselves. And it's like, that's why we're here too. So Source can see what it is. So we can see what we are. So we can feel what we are reflected back to us. It's a long one. Sorry guys. But I've had a few drinks, so this is what you get. Hope you enjoyed.